Write each ratio as a fraction in simplest form. So to write a ratio as a fraction, you use a fraction bar. In simplest form means reduce it. So you can do 15 is 30ths, you can divide them both by 15, so it's going to be 1/2. Letter B, so first I write 25 divided by 10, then I can divide both of these by 5. So if I divide both of them by 5, the top is 5 and the bottom by 2. So that is simplest form. 4 out of 16. 4 out of 16. So you can divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4 and get 1/4. That's in simplest form. And the last one, you can divide the top by 5 and the bottom by 5 to get 3 out of 7. That's in simplest form. Solve each proportion, round to the nearest tenth. So tenth means 1 decimal place. So to solve the proportion, I'm going to multiply 5y equals 3 times 60, which is 120 or 180, and divide both of these by 5. So 180 divided by 5 is 36. So y equals 36. Exactly. Letter B, I cross multiply, so 8b equals, now I'm going to calculate 7 times 96, and I get 672. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 8, and I get 84. The scale on a map is 4 inches is 25 miles, so I should write this right now as a fraction. 4 inches, 25 miles. Find the actual distance for each map distance. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So 10 inches, I'm going to put on the top to keep the inches, both inches are on the top, and I put x on the bottom. And now I cross multiply. So I'm going to get 4x equals 250. So I do 250 divided by 4, and I get x equals 62.5. Letter B, again, I'm going to set up 4 inches, 25 miles. So we have to put 5.5 inches on the top, x on the bottom. Cross multiply. So I get 4x equals 25 times 5.5 is 137.5. So when I divide by 4 on my calculator, I get 34.375. But I need to round to 1 decimal. So to do that, I look at the 7. The 7 is 5 or more, so this goes up. So the answer is 34.3 or 34.4 approximately. Write each number as a fraction in simplest form as a decimal. So if you have a percent, you can write it percents out of 100, and then we need to reduce it. So I divide it by 2 and I get 650. I divide that by 2 and I get 3 out of 25. So that's the answer. 6% is 6 out of 100. Divide by 2 and I get 3 out of 50. That's the answer. A decimal for a percent is move the decimal over twice. So it's 0.12. So if the decimal's right here, I move it over once, twice, I need to fill in that 0. So it's 0.06. A scale on a map is 1 centimeter is 5 kilometers. So I have a scale I need to set up. 1 centimeters is 5 kilometers equals 2 cities are 4.5 centimeters apart on the map. What is the actual distance between the 2 cities? So 4.5 centimeters needs to go on the top, x on the bottom, and now you cross multiply. So it's going to be 1 times x, which is x, equals 5 times 4.5. So it's 22.5 kilometers. A bag contains 3 red marbles, 5 green marbles, and 2 blue marbles. So 3 red, 5 green, and 2 blue. You choose a marble at random. Find each probability. So what's the probability you get a blue? So there are 10 marbles total. So there's 2 out of 10. But remember, you need to reduce it. So it's 1/5. Green. There are 5 out of 10 total. So you have to reduce it. So there's 1/2. Red or a blue. This one's red or blue, red or blue, red or blue, red or blue, red or blue. There's 5 total, so it's 5/10, which reduces to 1/2. And then chapter 7, solve each equation. So you're going to subtract 17 first. So 3y equals negative 30, and divide both sides by 3. Y equals negative 10. Now letter B, that's a positive 10, so you're going to subtract 10 and get negative 5x equals 5. Then divide both sides by negative 5. So x equals negative 1. Letter C, subtract 10 first from each side. So 4 equals m divided by 3. Now you're going to want to multiply both sides by 3. If this is dividing, so you're going to multiply both sides. This cancels out, so m equals 12 is your answer, because 4 times 3 is 12. And then this one, you could do the distributive property first. So 3b minus 6 equals 9b. Then you're going to want to get your b's together. So I would do it, I would subtract 3 b's. So now you'll have negative 6 equals 6b, and then divide both sides by 6, so b equals negative 1. And then letter E, I would do the distributive property first. Then you want to combine your b's together, so you have 24 equals negative 2b's, because if you add these two together, you're going to get negative 2b's. Then you add 4, so 28 equals negative 2b, divide by negative 2, b equals negative 14. And then letter F, 6x minus 2x is 4x. Divide both sides by 4, x equals 3. And letter G, subtract 18 from each side first. Now, if you have a fraction out front, you should, that's multiplied by a variable, you should multiply both sides by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3/5 is 5 over 3. These cancel out. Now you can do 6 divided by 3 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. So P equals 10 is your answer. And then letter H, you could do the distributive property. oops, 0.6. Then you get your W's on one side, so subtract W, subtract W. So 3 W's minus 8.2 equals 0.6. And then add 8.2 to both sides. So you're going to have 3W equals 8.8. So now I'm going to divide 8.8 divided by 3W. Or divided by 3. And I get about 2.9. I rounded, so I put the approximate. And then letter I subtract A, cancel out. So 2A plus 2 equals negative 8. Subtract 2, so 2A equals negative 10. A equals negative 5. And then inequalities. Remember, if you have to switch the direction, if you multiply or divide by a negative number. So I subtract 18, 3x greater than negative 6, divide by 3, x is greater than negative 2. This is going to be an open dot shaded to the right. And then subtract 4, 9a less than or equal to negative 27. I'm still dividing by a positive number, so I don't switch the sign. So it's a less than or equal to negative 3. So at negative 3, I put a closed dot and go to the left. And then I subtract 19, bring down a negative 3y greater than or equal to negative 15. Divide by negative 3. So it's y is less than. I change because I divide by a negative. So this is going to be a closed dot shaded to the left.